Good morning. My name is Sean Forney. This is the USM Public Speaking Center. I'm a peer tutor here. This is a little odd because I don't have an audience, so I kind of feel cool. I can say whatever I want, but somebody is going to be watching this at the end of the day, so I can't say everything that I really want to do. But actually, what I'm here to talk to you guys about today is taking a paper and turning it into a presentation. It's a very important skill. We all have great ideas, we all have great paper, but there's a difference between writing it down and actually performing it, right? In today's society, it's actually very, very important to have that ability, to be able to turn that paper into something effective and something succinct. Let me move this up just a little bit here. Okay, great. So, look at our slide right here. Okay, we have Will Smith, Steven Spielberg, Halle Berry, Chris Pratt, Melissa McCarthy, Tyler Perry, Angelina Jolie. You might be asking yourself, why in the world do we actually need these up here? And what does this have to do with public speaking? Well, in terms of turning your paper into a presentation, you can think of yourself as these individuals because you are the actor, you are the writer, you are the producer, you are the director. You get to craft this and produce it and perform it in any way that you want. You are in control of all of those variables, okay? I'm going to turn the lights on here. See if this helps. Okay? A little bit better there, okay? So you get to craft whatever image is that you want to project out there, okay? Because when you're taking a 20-page paper, a 30-page paper, a 40-page paper, right? We don't have time to listen to all of that. How are you going to perform it to us? How are you going to give us that message, that core message, those main ideas inside of there? You got to be a little artistic. You got to be a little humorous. You got to be a little bit creative, okay? That's what makes information stick in people's minds, all right? So think of yourself kind of in a way as being a writer, as being an actor, as being a producer, as being a director of your work, all right? Just like I said, you want to turn that stack of papers into this guy, right? We can see in the audience there, people are excited. They like listening to this. We've all been in presentations, in lectures, wherever it may be, where people put their heads down, where they start looking around. They don't want to be there. You don't want that, okay? You don't want people having a sense of they just want to get through something, right? You want them listening. You want them engaged. And you know it when you see it. They're smiling, they're looking at you, they're hunched forward, they want to learn, okay? That means you grab attention, you tell them what it is you want to tell them, right? And you leave them with something memorable, okay? So, topics we're going to talk about today. Difference between a paper or presentation, creating an effective PowerPoint, presenting a PowerPoint, practicing it, and then delivering it, okay? Very straightforward. A couple things you need to keep in mind, a couple things you need before you start. Why are you speaking? Very, very basic. Are you informing us about something? Are you trying to get us to do something, or persuading as we call it? Or are you here to entertain? There are a lot of different speeches out there, okay? There's information that people need to know. Then there's a speech where there's information that people need to know and they need to do something with it. Or there's a special occasion. There's a commemoration. There's a memorialization. Okay, there's a eulogy, right? There's all different types of occasions for why it is that we speak. You need to know that beforehand. That will direct the way that you're going to process and structure your information. Okay? Who are you speaking to? Who is your audience? Is it a bunch of graduates? Is it a bunch of undergraduates? Is it a highly educated group? Right? Is it a younger group? Is it an older group? Knowing who your audience is, you need to adapt to them. You need to adapt your message to them so they can understand it more clearly, okay? What are you speaking about? You have to assume your audience does not know anything about your topic. And I want to say that again very clearly. You need to assume your audience knows very little about your topic. When you go in to prepare, you can then go, all right, I need to condense this, I need to make this simple, I need to make this concise, so people can understand what it is that I am talking about. Not everybody is into the research that you're in. Not everybody has the major that you have. You need to know that every time that you go and speak out there, okay? And so you need to adapt accordingly to that audience. Craft your message so that 10-year-olds, so that 12-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, graduates, undergraduates, whoever it is that you're talking to would be able to understand it. Okay, let's get started today. When you look at a paper, and I've done a bunch of these presentations, you need to find the core of it. What is the main idea of your paper? It might be 1, 2, 3 main ideas. You need to find that immediately, okay? And you need to be able to translate that to your audience, okay? When we look at papers to presentations, a lot of times people spend the minutia of telling you study after study, stat after stat, story after story. After a while, it gets redundant, it gets old, you just start losing people, okay? You need to find that core main idea of what your paper is. Present that then to your audience, okay? Guys, you've got to make your presentation engaging, okay? Engagement is another word for participation, okay? This doesn't mean having volunteers come up all the time. I know that sounds fun, right? Almost like a magic show or something like that, having somebody come up and you get to perform a little experiment with them. That's probably not what you're going to be doing. For the most part, being engaging is just asking questions, right? Adapting those ideas to your audience. Hey, I just did research on X. Have you seen X in your life? Well, let me tell you why my presentation, my ideas can help you in your life. Let me tell you why you need to know this information today, okay? Relate it to your audience's interests, all right? That will get them engaged. That will get them listening. That will get them asking questions when you're done. We've all heard the term information overload, okay? You know statistics when you hear them. You know when you've gone too far. You know when you don't have enough, okay? You need to find that delicate balance between giving us the correct amount of numbers that lets us understand the subject and drowning us out with it. You need to find that balance in between there, okay? So you need to know what must be included. The main idea, why it is that people need to know this. Again, you will hear me come back to that over and over again. Why is it that people need to know about your subject? And there are strange subjects out there sometimes, and you go, why would anybody want to listen to this? But if you can frame it to somebody's area, to their environment, to their age, to their race, to their ethnicity, to whatever it may be, all of a sudden you have them, and it makes sense why you're telling them about your subject, okay? What can be left out, all right? Again, if we're doing too many stats, if we're doing too many examples, if we're doing too many slides with too many words, all right, you need to worry or understand that your audience does not want to hear all of that, okay? They're going to be hearing a lot of presentations. The ones that stick out to them are the ones that make sense in their own life, that they can apply to their own life, and they don't have to require a lot of attention to. We don't want to feel like we're in school all the time when we're going to listen to somebody's presentation on research, right? We want something that will impact our lives, all right? So keep that in mind. So you need to find out what they need to know, right? You can't include everything. Trust me, I've done it a million times. It doesn't work. You cannot include everything, all right? So remember your time limits. The only way you can figure out your time limits and how it is that you're doing with them is you got to practice. There is no simple answer to it. You have to practice over and over again. That will give you a basis of, am I in that 6 to 8, 7 to 9, 10 to 12 minute span, right? You have to make an outline and you have to go over it. That's the only way you can figure out. Again, we talk about outlines. Outlines are real simple, guys. In any presentation, in any paper that you're going to write, they're very similar. You want to grab our attention with an introduction. Tell us what it is that you're going to tell us today. Get into the body of your speech. What are those main ideas? 1, 2, 3 at the most. Okay? Conclusion, wrap it up for us. Give us a review. Give us a nice little closure. Okay? In our introduction, we want to grab attention right away. This is not coming up and saying, my name is X, and I want to tell you about X. We've heard that a million times. You've already lost people, okay? You want to open up with a story. Maybe something that happened to you. Maybe something that happened to somebody that you know. Segue that into your topic. Maybe a story of somebody in the news that had something happen to them that was related to your topic. Introduce your topic. You can open with a question, asking rhetorical questions. Open with a shocking statistic, a shocking story. Segue that interesting or novel approach or story into your topic. It beats the heck out of, my name is such and such, and I'm here to tell you about this today. Get our attention with something interesting, something unique related to your topic. Segue in, give us your thesis or central idea. I found this about this. I'm going to tell you this about this, okay? Give us a nice little preview. Right? Today I'm going to talk about 1, 2, and 3. Let your audience know what exactly they're going to learn that day. Okay? Also in this point, guys, and this is very important to remember, offer what we call rewards. After today, my audience will know how to build a better home, right? Get a better retirement plan, whatever it may be. Tailor it again to your audience. Why are you guys listening to this? Well, you're going to get something out of it. I'm going to tell you what it is that you can do. Okay? Get into our body. All right? These are our main ideas. These are our main points, right? They have to correspond with your preview, right? First, I told you about this, so that's going to be your first main idea. You want to have a couple sub-main ideas, some examples, and a statistic. Move on to that next main idea. Remember, keep it simple, keep it concise. Okay? Example, statistic, move on. Right? It's just like defining something. What's the definition of the word? Where do we see it in the real world? Move on. Okay? People love examples, they love statistics. Alright? Again, keep it simple, keep it concise. Alright, we want transitions between main ideas as well. Okay? The transition is something as simple as letting your audience know where you are in your speech. First, I told you about this. Now you need to know this. We know the causes of X. Now let me tell you about the effects of X. We know what it is to be unhealthy. Let me tell you how to get healthy. Right? It lets your audience know where you are going with this. Okay? Lastly, guys, is your conclusion. Your conclusion is very, very simple. You are simply rehashing your main ideas. First, I talked about this today. Then I talked about this. Then I talked about this. Lastly, you want to close with something to leave your audience wanting a little bit more. Okay? Sometimes that can be as simple as going back to your introduction and asking that same question, right? Because now your audience has information to actually answer it. Now they have a different way of looking at that question, okay? Or maybe it's finishing that story that you started in your introduction, right? And now the person looks at it differently from that story because of what we have learned today. Okay? So leave your audience wanting a little bit more in that closure. Okay? Some things you guys want to leave out. Your literature review. Okay? I've written a lot of literature reviews. I'm sure you have as well. They get very detail-oriented. The theoretical underpinnings, the tenets of it, what other people have done with the theory. You need to be able to succinctly go through theory, the history of it, where it is today, right? Really basic. Not give us every single study that was ever done with that, okay? Normally when you do a literature review, what you start to reveal is that the theory or the research has gone in 2, 3, or 4 directions, has looked at 2, 3, or 4 variables, right? Briefly tell us about that. Don't tell us every person that did that type of study, okay? That's way too much. All right? Again, which portions of the paper are going to be very, very important? You got to lay the groundwork with that literature review. There's no doubt about that. But what people really want to hear is your analysis, right? Is your research? Is your experiment? What did you do with this literature review, with this body of knowledge that we already know? I want to hear what it is that you did, okay? That's the part you want to focus on heavily, all right? So you want to stick to that script, right? Here's the groundwork for you guys. Now here's what I did to it. Here's what I added to that knowledge. That's what people really want to hear, right? So make sure you focus mainly on those findings, all right? Again, I talked about this in the beginning. You want to give your audience a reason to listen. Listen, you know, guys, today you're going to learn about this, and you might be able to use it in your own life, okay? Jargon, guys, we got to think about our audience again, all right? We know through the studies, people like the New York Times and newspapers like that, they assume it's a ninth grade level education, right? That people, let's write for people just coming into high school or haven't even gone to high school, okay? So just like the New York, or not the New York Times, I'm sorry, the USA Today. New York Times is for a different educational crowd. USA Today, good newspaper, right? They figure they know who their audience is. They're going to write language that they can understand. You've got to think the same way for your speech. Who is my language? How can they understand this? Right? Who's my audience? How can they understand my language? Okay? Especially if you're doing scientific reports. I don't understand that. I'm not a science major. Okay? You want to use a lot of examples, stuff that they can actually understand and comprehend. Right? It makes sense to them. So related to their own life, things that are going on in the world around you that they can apply to. Okay? Always need to be thinking about what it is your audience can understand. We all said it. You know boring when you see it. Okay? Everybody's sleeping around you. Hopefully nobody's sleeping right now. Okay? What makes a presentation engaging? I said it at the beginning. I mean, you got to grab our attention. You cannot say my name is such and here's my speech today. Okay? You got to have some organization to it. You got to tell us what it is you're going to tell us. There's got to be a structure to it. Is it a causal effect thing? What is it that you are looking at today? All right? If it's organized, we'll be able to process it much more simpler. All right? You need the material, you need a body, you need a voice, you need energy, you need passion, okay? It's very, very important in public speaking, okay? Because after all, guys, you did the research on this. This was your topic. You should be having fun with it. You should be going back to that first screening of Will Smith and Tyler Perry and Halle Berry and Steven Spielberg, right? That should be your enjoyment when you think about giving a presentation about the stuff that you researched. Right? There's a reason you picked that topic. There's a reason you put all that time into it. Right? Show us that energy. Show us that satisfaction that you got with it. Okay? Visual aid. A visual aid is a great idea. Not too many, right? But a visual aid is a great idea. Okay? A lot of times people lean on a PowerPoint. I wouldn't discourage from that. Okay? But there are other ways to use visual aids as well. Sometimes a simple picture, a simple photo, a simple drawing on the board, a simple explanation of something is the best for people. Okay? Because what we have learned from presentations and especially PowerPoints is the more writing you have up there, the more confused someone gets and they stop listening altogether. Okay? So you want to keep it as simple as possible. All right? And we want an extemporaneous delivery, okay? This is where you're prepared, you've done your outline, you have your note cards, but you're not reading word for something. All right? You're allowing for some audience feedback. When you can see maybe they don't understand something, you need to clarify it a little bit more. Or you see that they're really engaged with something, maybe you need to spend a little bit more time on that. All right? This allows you for some room to adapt to your audience. That's an extemporaneous delivery, and that is, for us, one of the most spontaneous and well-received. Because you're not like a computer just reading word for word. Okay? Obviously, we don't have any questions, right? PowerPoint is our audience's guide, okay? So you want to keep it simple, guys, all right? You want to think about the visibility, which this right now obviously isn't too good, right? Let's see if we can get here. Okay, not bad. I'll read them for you, right? PowerPoint, it's our audience's guide. It lets us know where you're going with something, okay? You want to keep it simple. You want to think about the visibility, which we should probably think here. Hey, this is a great lesson, right? This is a great lesson for people. Maybe they can't see all this, all right? That's what you got to think about. Not just about what you're putting on there in terms of words and ideas, but also the color scheme, all right? How is it that we can see this, all right? How does it look to people? PowerPoint is not your crutch, okay? You don't let PowerPoint eliminate you, right? We can all read, okay? So you don't want to be continually reading word for word. Everybody can read it. You want people focusing on you, not on the screen, okay? The words should supplement what it is that you're saying, not the other way around. Let me repeat that. The words should supplement what it is you're saying, not the other way around. I should be telling you about the ideas. The words should be examples, should be details to hammer home that point, okay? In terms of a paper versus a presentation, right, it's a point of reference. It's for clarity, okay? The presentation is for clarity of that paper, right? That's what we're looking for here, okay? The presentation clarifies what it is you've written about, what it is that you have found, okay? You need to think in those terms. How can I clarify this information? How can I make it succinct? How can I make it compact for my audience, okay? I keep playing around with the lights here. I'm not sure. Maybe. Let's try the back here. Hopefully that's a little better, okay? Okay. You want to keep it simple, okay? You don't want to have overloaded slides. You don't want to have flashy animations. You don't want to have distracting charts or graphs, okay? I've seen overloaded slides over and over again. There's too many words, there's too many pictures. People don't know what to pay attention to, so they don't pay attention to anything, okay? So you want to have basic ideas, or you want to have one picture and then you want to describe that picture. You want to have one graph and you want to describe what's going on in that graph, right? You want to have one table of results, describe those results to us, okay? Keep it simple, right? Don't have the animations, don't have the sound effects, right? It looks cheesy, it looks 1998. That's not what we want. This is an example of not a good slide. And you might be saying, wow, who would actually do that? Well, trust me, I've seen plenty of them like this. I've seen people give presentations and read word for word what's on here, but not actually look on the screen. They have it written down in front of them, okay? We're not reading your speech. We're reading you. You need to connect with us. This does not connect with us. It's too much information. We've already tuned out. This is a little bit better, right? We've taken that slide, we've broken it down into some main ideas, right? A little bit chronological approach here, giving us the beginning of something, giving us what happened, giving it to us where is it now, okay? It's a little bit better, right? In terms of your research, you're doing a lit review, here's my methods, here's my analysis, here's my discussion, right? Here's my results, here's my discussion, okay? That could be a preview for you. But this is a little bit better. Still a little bit too much in terms of words, though, okay? Again, too much content, right? Loading it up. Hard to read, hard to look at. Audience has already given up. Keep it simple. Main ideas, an example, a picture, right? Something that the audience doesn't have to scan through and look through, right? It's right there for them. You explain it, okay? You explain the picture. You explain the phrase. You explain the graph. Don't let them try to explain it. Here come our flashy animations. We all love stars, don't we? Oh, now we have multiple stars. And I guess that's fireworks. It does not look formal. Catch a rising star. I don't think so. Okay? Charts and graphs. Again, be judicious with this as well. this is too much, right? There's a lot of information here, and I bet you somebody could explain this, but in the audience, I wouldn't know where to look. I'd be going left, I'd be going right, there's different colors everywhere. That's way, way, way too much. Find one in here that you think is the most significant and tell that to us. Put that on its own slide, explain it to us. This is much better. This is much, much better. It's very easy on the eyes. We have titles. We have what they've done on down the line. So as a presenter, you can come up here and say, well, I found in Central Africa this. Then I found in the awareness program. Then I found in management in general. Then I found in awareness. Then I found in media and film. Right? This is an effective slide. It's simple and it's explained well. It's right there for everybody to understand. Okay? Even further is the highlighting. This is the one I want you guys to key in on right here. Right? The management and general topic, 16%. That was our most significant. Okay? Highlight the most significant thing that you want. If it was this one, I'd have this one being yellow. Okay? If it was this one, I'd have this one being yellow. Right? It stands out from everything else. Okay? Make these stand out. What should we do? Obviously, purple and yellow doesn't really go well together. Okay? You can't really see everything there. So you want to keep in mind, think about what your audience wants to hear. Think about what you're comfortable talking about as well. Okay? Because you're supposed to sound knowledgeable about this. Alright? So it's got to be something that you have made yourself comfortable with. Okay? Again, that comes back to the preparation. Right? If it's a topic that you don't really know what to talk about or makes you a little bit uncomfortable, you need to find ways to get comfortable with it, to be honest with you. Right? Especially if it's an important part of your study or your research. Alright? Think about how much time you have to talk. Again, we talked about that before. If it's 6 to 8 minutes, you need to put together a practice session, everything that you're going to talk about, and see if it is in the 6 to 8 minute range. If it is, then you have some time to work around maybe some aesthetics of the PowerPoint, of an introduction, of really grabbing attention, whatever it may be, of a visual aid. If it's under 6 or it's over 8, you need to be able to add information or take information out. Okay? So the point being here is that you need to practice. You really need to practice to know where you are in that time frame. Okay? And you also want to think about expectations, right? Think about expectations for you, but also your audience. Okay? So in terms of expectations for you, how are you going to explain this today? Right? Are you going to try to inform us today? Or are you going to persuade us today? Or do you want to be a little bit entertaining? Or do you want to be all three? Okay? Make sure you have those elements in your speech. Right? Make sure you have enough information to actually inform us, but make sure you also have a tone to persuade us if that's what you're trying to do. Okay? So you need to fulfill those expectations. And for your audience, what are they there for? Are they there because they have to be there? Or are they there because they want to hear about this? Think about that as well. Right? Because if they're there, they have to be there. Then you need to work a little bit harder to grab their attention. Right? If they're coming there to hear about this because they want to, grabbing attention might not be that hard, but then what do you want them to do with that information? Okay, so think about expectations. Keep in mind, again, guys, your audience. Okay? Who are they? How can I speak to them? How can I make it clearly? All right? Adapt to that audience. All right? The occasion, right? This could be a physical occasion, so where am I, right? Are we in a conference room? Am I in an auditorium? Am I outside, right? And what is the occasion? Am I informing? Am I persuading? Am I entertaining? These are all things you need to keep in mind, okay? Because it can really form the way that you're going to present something. Are you going to present in a serious tone, in a somewhat humorous tone, a little bit of both? Are you going to try to get emotional? What is the occasion of it? All right? Topic, okay? I'm not here to talk about apples, guys. I'm here to tell you why apples could help save your life. Be specific with your topic, okay? I'm not here to talk about, the environment. I'm here to tell you where the environment will be in 10 years from now, okay? Be specific with your topic so your audience knows right away what they could potentially learn that day. And limitations. You got to know those out front. Look, I don't have that much time, so I need to get through a lot of this information, right? Or I need to cut a lot of this information down so my audience isn't drowning with all of this. Know the limitations from the beginning. Nobody's going to give you 40 minutes for that presentation, right? Normally it's a 5 to minute, especially if we're looking at conferences, we're looking at around 10 minutes, okay? Again, expectations for you. What do I really want to do today? And expectations for the audience. What do I think they will get out of this? Okay? Focus in on those and you'll be able to adapt to them and make a more clear, coherent message. Again, the visibility, we talked about it before. We've actually even seen it today on this. It's a good example we have this, right? Make colors that are easy to see, right? Black words, white background, okay? Colors that really stand out, that everybody, that it's visible to everybody. The same with pictures, right? Everybody can see the picture. If you blow it up, does it make it blurry? You need to consider all those things, okay? The size of the room, how big is it? Do we have a projector? Do we have a PowerPoint? Okay? Make sure you know all those things beforehand so you can plan accordingly. Again, what I like to go through really quickly here, practicing with a PowerPoint, delivering with a PowerPoint, and having a backup plan if they don't all work, okay? Guys, you need to practice, practice, practice. We talked about it, okay? If it calls for 6 to 8 minutes, you only need a couple slides. You don't need 10 slides because then you're just going to be going one through one through one through one and the other, right? And it's all about up here and not about here, okay? If you're going 6 to 8 minutes, you should have like 2 or 3 slides. That's it. You know, you're spending 2 or 3 minutes on each slide, and then you're taking questions, okay? So, for me, it's always less is more, okay? Less information, more this, right? Less words, less pictures, more this. I'm going to tell you guys why this is really important, okay? Practice to anybody, to your friends, to your family, right? In your dorms, wherever it is. The more you practice, the more you get an idea in your head what sounds good, what people's reactions are, right? And how you need to adapt. It's just, it sounds so simple, and it is. You just need to practice, okay? You'll be able to evaluate yourself, and you'll be able to learn that, hey, I'm not perfect, right? We're all not perfect, okay? We all get anxiety, we all get nervous, we all sweat. It's a part of life. But the more you practice, the more you get used to it, and the more you realize what you can do. Guys, you need a conversational style when you talk. Don't talk in big terms, don't talk in scientific terms, okay? When you deliver your words, just talking like you're across the table from someone, right? And you just want to tell them about your ideas. People open up to that, okay? So you want to talk conversationally, all right? You don't want to, as I just used one right there, you don't want to have too many vocal pauses as we talked about before. You don't want to have too much silence. You want to be moving smoothly from one idea to the next. But be able at the same time to look around and go, do I think they understand this? If so, you can move on. If not, go back. Right? What else can I talk about to them? Right? How else can I make them understand this? Okay? Immediacy, guys, okay? This is bringing everybody in, making everybody feel closer. Again, why do people need to know this? So use language like us and we. It makes people feel like they can use this information, like it relates to their lives, okay? And again, jokes are always a good idea, especially opening up. It might get people to laugh, but be judicious with it, okay? We all know some jokes are not appropriate, okay? Don't be a stand-up comedian up there, right? A nice little lighthearted joke about your topic, maybe even about yourself, being self-deprecating, can lighten the mood a little bit. Nonverbal, guys, huge, huge, okay? Posture, you want to be engaged, you want to be up, you want to be presenting, you want your gestures moving forward, right? It shows people that you're open, that you're welcoming, that you're energetic, okay? You want to be looking across the room, scanning, eye contact, right, middle, left. If you are nervous, and if you don't have good eye contact, that's okay. Put on a note card, put on something that only you can see, a reminder, hey, look in the middle, right? Next card, hey, look over to the right. Little reminder on the next card, hey, look over to the left. Before you know it, you're going middle, right, left. And you're looking around the room, making everybody feel involved, okay? Smile, fake it until you make it. If you're not a smiler, start smiling. You'll naturally start doing it more, you'll start feeling better. When people see smile, they naturally want to give one back. It's just how the human body, it's like when people yawn, right? They want to yawn right back, okay? When you smile at people, they want to smile right back. It's how the human body works. If you do that in your presentation, all of a sudden you have people who are happy and they're engaged and they're listening to what it is that you're delivering, okay? Personal appearance, I don't know how else to phrase this, but you should know this by now. If you're going to a conference, if you're going to a job interview, I mean, you need to look the part. You need to look the part. It tells people that you're serious without ever saying a word. Bring notes. Bring note cards. However it is that you take notes, they're for your eyes only, okay? So you can have whatever it is on them that you want. My caution to you, if you bring an entire speech or you bring an outline that's just word to word from page to page, the tendency is for you to stop and try to read word for word if you lose your place. So bring a note card, my suggestion, bring a note card with main ideas and key words. Therefore, it forces you to find in your head, when you don't know what's going on, after you look at that one main idea, to come up with it on your own. So if you've done the preparation, you'll be fine. But if you're coming with a big speech, you're going to use that as a crutch. And you don't want that, because it comes off as inauthentic. Okay? So use keywords, use colors, highlight main ideas on your note cards. Okay, so they stick out to you in case you lose your place. Guys, everybody gets apprehension, okay? Being nervous is normal. I get nervous. Everybody who gives speeches are nervous. It's a major fear in America. What we know about apprehension, guys, is actually it's really high in the beginning. And once you get through like a minute, it's already out of your body, all that anxiety, okay? So it's how the human body works. So if you know that going in, you go, okay, well, guess what? It's natural. I am going to be nervous, but I'll open up with a good attention getter, and once I get through that, I'll be smooth sailing home, okay? Take a couple deep breaths beforehand. Go back over your main ideas. Go back over your introduction, right? What it is that I'm going to be talking about today, okay? Calm yourself. Think positively, okay? Positive visualization. Like, today I'm going to go in there and I'm going to kill it. And they're going to go, wow, that kid's really impressive. Huh, that's a really interesting research. I want to talk with that person afterwards. Positive visualization. Imagine yourself doing well, and guess what? You're going to do well, okay? We all get the physical symptoms, okay? Recognize those. How are you going to deal with them, okay? Again, positive visualization. When you feel the heartbeat going, when you feel the stomach going, take a couple deep breaths and say, hey, I put in all this work for this. I'm going to have my moment here. I'm going to embrace this. I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to embrace this. I want to tell people what it is that I found. Again, we talked about positive visualization, right? Don't expect to be perfect. I screwed up a lot here today, okay? Especially in this whole lighting situation, all right? But we'll fix it. We'll get better with it, okay? That's life, right? That is life. Things are not going to go perfect, all right? But we learn from them and we get a little bit better. It's the same with public speaking, okay? Guys, I can't express this enough, too. I mean, this goes for anything in life. You got to get rest. You got to get a good night's sleep before a presentation. You really, really do. I can't tell you how important that is. Okay? okay? Because even if you're energized, you got your 12 cups of Starbucks in you, you're still going to be maybe stumbling over words, forgetting a point here or a point there, because you're just not well rested, right? And you're a little on edge. You need your rest beforehand. Remember, we want to practice our speech along with our PowerPoint, if that's what it is that we're using as a visual aid, okay? But whenever you practice your speech, whatever your aid is, you want to have that with you, okay? So you want to stand next to it. If you have pictures, if you have graphs, you want to be able to come up and say, hey, here's what I found in letter A, here's what I found in letter B, okay? But not continually staring at it, introducing it, explaining to your audience, right? Here's my example, here's what I'm going to tell you about it. Here's the definition, here's what we know about it, okay? Again, use it as an aid, not a crutch, all right? I can't tell you how many people I've had come in and say, well, I emailed it to myself, or I lost my flash drive, and I can't get on the whatever it is. No, you need your presentation on a couple different things. Email it to yourself, email it to your professor, email it to a friend, okay? Put it on a flash drive, put it on a disk, whatever. Have multiple places where you can access that presentation on the day of, okay, in case something goes wrong, all right? So don't leave home without it. All right, guys, so real quickly, things we talked about today. Differences between a paper and a presentation, creating an effective PowerPoint, presenting with PowerPoint, practicing, and delivery, okay? I hope you guys learned something today. About turning your paper into a great presentation. Remember, things to take away from today, okay? What are the main ideas from my paper, all right? How am I going to tell that to my audience? So think about who your audience is. Why does my audience need to know this information? What can they do with it? And then think about a visual aid, right? How can I aid in this? But don't rely heavily on it, okay? So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. And again, if you need any help at all, please come to the Speaking Center right here on SM's campus at the library. We're open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 7, Fridays, 9 to 1, and Sunday are online appointments. Okay, so stop on by. We can help you. Anything from a speech to a job interview to a group presentation to whatever it may be. We are here to help you guys from the beginning of it, from outlining it to actually performing it. Okay, so we do everything in between. All right. So stop on by if you ever need any help, and thank you so much for joining me today.